Welcome to YOUCANIC. Today here on YOUCANIC we have a Mazda 3. I have raised the car, got it on jack stands or supports, and then I have removed the tire, turned it to the right so that we have better access to the backs here, the back bolts here, to be able to replace these brakes and caliper. Right? So there's two bolts here, and these are the bolts, and if we luck out, when you're loosening them, these are size 13. If you luck out, you don't need to put a wrench on here. Sometimes you'll have to put a wrench here to be able to get these to come out, or they just continue to spin. Well, these lucked out and we got these to spin, right? And so then you take those off, and with those off you can go ahead and remove the caliper unit itself, and we'll just set this on top here. Try not to have a whole lot of tension on the caliper unit itself. Okay, then we got to remove these two number 17 bolts. So those loose and removed, you can remove the whole carrier. Then you can go ahead and just squeeze the brakes into themselves, and then if you need to, and then this, we're going to try to get this off. It's not coming off, so we need our persuader bar, which is a hammer. Removed. You can take your wire brush. I like to clean a little bit of that corrosion off so that when I put the new rotor on, and over the time, it's not just a buildup of corrosion there, and we'll be able to get it off. Now we need to push this caliper back. I like to use one of the brakes. Just set it in the channel there, and then press it back and push all that brake fluid back into the brake fluid reservoir. And the reason I put the brake pad is in there, that way you know you won't press it in too far because it'll stop with the guides. So it's all the way back where it needs to be. So put that there. We got our new rotor. Set that on there. You can also put a nut on there just to hold it into place. Okay, now we've got that situated. Now we're going to take our carrier here and we're going to get things situated up here. Okay, number one, we want to see how easy these slide in and out, and then we want to go ahead and put some fresh grease on them, clean the old grease off, lubing these parts, and then just put it back in, make sure it hits in that seal. You can do the same on the other one. This one has a little bit of a collar to make it be a little bit more stiff, but we still want to have it all lubed up. Okay. Now take your new brake pads. If you had new glides, these metal glides, you would go ahead and put new ones of those, but this kit didn't come with them. So just go ahead and put your brake pads in. It works if you can take them from the center and pull them out. There we go. Just work it in there. Do the same with the other one. So we've got our brakes are in the carrier. Press them in, put them to the sides. Now you can just take this thing, put it back on the rotor, press it into place, and then we've got our two bolts here. The carrier has been put back in place. You just slide it over the rotor. May have to adjust it a little bit, and we get it on and into place there. Now we've got two 17 millimeter bolts that we need to put in there. Our two good 17 millimeter bolts in there. Just go ahead and make these good and snug and tight. Do it now, you have a little bit more workspace. So that's all. Those are all good and snug. Now we can go ahead and rotate this around and just be able to that around onto the caliper itself. Take these bolts. We're mounting the caliper to the carrier. Alright, so we've moved our carrier. We've put it back into place. We're going to go, it's the caliper portion that mounts to the carrier. And then we're going to put these carrier bolts in and tighten them up. And with our number 13, come good and snug. And turns a little bit, so we're going to hold it with our wrench. Good to go. So that's all tightened into place. Next thing you would do, you would just put your tire back on and tighten it, snug it up, and bring it to, and then lower your vehicle and set it to, and torque your tires to spec. That's how you replace your brakes and rotors on the front on your Mazda 3. Thanks for watching YOUCANIC, where you can be the mechanic.